My name is Mitch Mackey, an amateur webcomic creator currently working on a webcomic series called 100 Years Later. But 100 Years Later actually isn't my first comic. I have posted something to Webtoon before called Endless Drive all the way back in 2016 when I was first starting to learn how to use digital art. And it is not great, obviously. It's when I first learned how to use a drawing tablet, and even then I still had issues, so I think I used mouse to draw a lot. And it's just not good, obviously, and I didn't really do any panel laying out. But yeah, this is it, and and the colors are, oh yeah, I didn't do the colors, so I don't take credit for that. But still, it's that's how I first learned how to make comics, basically, all the way back then. And this video is going to kind of be me redrawing the main character, Dante, right here, and just kind of talking about what I've learned this past 5 years, and why it's good to look back and kind of see how far you've come. Before I get started on what I've learned and how I can apply this to the future and kind of look to the future, I'm just going to talk about that comic I had planned, Endless Drive. It was really inspired by the movie Counting Monte Cristo. I can't remember if it was super popular. Young Henry Cavill is in it, actually. And the guy who played Dumbledore, what's his name? Yeah, Richard Harris. I forgot his name. Jeez. And Jim Caviezel and Guy Pearce is the villain. Anyway, it's a really good movie. I think I had to watch it in school for whatever reason, but I just really liked it. I need to read the book. I've tried a lot of times. I'm not a big reader, but I definitely want to finish reading that book. But anyway, I was very inspired by the movie. It's a classic, kind of revenge story, and revenge is kind of a big theme in 100 Years Later, so that's kind of interesting that all of my stories have revenge as a theme. But Endless Drive was going to be like a sci-fi retelling of that story, and I kind of had, and it starts off when he's in prison, for those who know the story of the Count of Monte Cristo. But yeah, it's good to look back on art that you've made previously. This is kind of the first time I've ever redrawn something, so that was very cool to do and kind of see them next side by side. And I really didn't spend a whole lot of time on this drawing, only about an hour, honestly. And it just, yeah, it definitely, it's very obvious to see how far I've grown. The first obvious one is I know how to use Clip Studio Pro and the awesome built-in 3D models that come with Clip Studio. And that just obviously improves my art many-fold, because back then I was still drawing really crappy anatomy. And I still draw really crappy anatomy, but now I know how to leverage the uses of modern technology. I think I also, back then, I had the old drawing tablets. I think I got like a cheap $50 one on Amazon, and it I didn't really like it, so I think I actually just used the line tool to just kind of trace over my scanned in art that I would write on my sketchpad. Yeah, I've definitely come a long ways from that. Technology has definitely just improved my art tremendously. But other than that, I think my art is a lot better just in general, and that's good to see. I will know, I think my character design has gotten worse. That's a okay character design, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it fits because he's in prison and he's wearing an orange jumpsuit, but still, my characters feel very basic to me sometimes when I'm drawing them. I mean, it's good since I need to draw them 100 times for a comic, but still. I've gotten a lot better at drawing backgrounds. I've gotten a lot better at drawing a stable line. My hair is a lot better, I think. It still needs to be worked on for sure. The eyes are a lot better. I noticed that. And the big one is definitely just colors in general. And I still have a lot to work on that. Especially, I was drawing this new panel, and I was just like, oh, this is not good. I need to fix the colors. But it's good I can notice that now, because before I would just be like, yeah, it's good. But yeah, my eye, it's definitely your eye gets trained more and more, even if without you noticing really. And stuff that you thought looked good, you know, even a year ago starts to look bad, which kind of sucks, but you're getting better and you're going to be able to put out better art that way. So my last video was kind of pessimistic, so I thought I'd make this video to kind of be a little bit more optimistic and kind of see how far I've come in the past 5 years and what I can kind of expect if I keep doing this in the next 5 years. I mean, if I keep growing at this rate, I'm going to be the greatest webcomic creator of all time, but I obviously don't think it's going to be as big of a jump in the next 5 years. Maybe it will, who knows? But if I can even get a 50% increase compared to the last 5 years, I think I will be sitting pretty. And I think that's what kind of keeps me drawing more and more, and I just keep liking it more and more the more I do it, is just kind of progressing and kind of leveling up, I guess, is the best way to put it, your art ability and skill. And it's not always awesome. I mean, there's times where you have a new piece and it's just the best thing you've ever drawn so far, and it's awesome. I love doing that. There was a couple pieces I drew. I did like a fan art of 2B from Nier, and I've always wanted to draw her, and I didn't really draw her as well as I think I could have, but I drew her very fast, and it looks pretty all right. I was pretty surprised. I posted on my Instagram and Twitter if you're interested. But, you know, when I draw the comic, you have to draw so many. I draw like 2 or 3 panels every day. Usually, most days I don't. But that, I can't expect to have every panel just be the best thing I've ever drawn consistently. That would be awesome if you did that. You would grow by leaps and bounds, but that's, you know, not realistic. You know, certain days you are kind of off. I would say most days I'm kind of off art-wise, and which isn't great since I want to make this my career. But I kind of have, it's kind of something you have to work with. But yeah, it's hard to see that improvement when you're doing the day-to-day, when you know you're like, oh, I just drew something really good like 2 days ago, why can I draw this random character at all? Why can I draw a straight line to save my life for whatever reason today? And you'll have days like that, so it's good to look back and be like, you know what, even on like my worst day, I'm still a way better artist than I was, you know, 5 years ago, maybe even a year ago, honestly. You know, my art's definitely changed a lot in the past year alone. So it's always good to kind of look back like this and reflect, and just kind of trigger some memories that you had when drawing this. I have some very fond memories. I think I was like in summer. I think I was like still in college for a little bit. Yeah, it's just, I have very kind of fond memories of doing this. So that was another good reason to look back on it. So I guess this wasn't really a tips and tricks video. I guess it was kind of just me talking about how my art's improved in the past 5 years. So let's throw some tips and tricks in, I guess. One thing I noticed is I use gradients in my old image, and I still do. I don't use them as much though. I used to just gradient everything, and I think for big pieces you should just gradient your colors a little bit, make it pop a little bit more. But if you're making a comic, don't gradient everything. You'll hate yourself and you'll hate coloring, like I did for my first chapter. I gradient pretty much every color, just to give it a slight variance, and then added the shading, and it just took forever to get all the panels out. So if you're drawing a comic, I mean, you do you, but you need to have a sustainable way to draw characters fast. So yeah, just do fill colors and then just throw a shade on there. And then I usually just gradient the hair and call it a day. Yeah, and then obviously another one, the shading is a lot better. I didn't know how to shade, I guess, like at all. Because I think I just did the hair. That was pretty much it. I'm still not amazing at it by any means. At least I have at least try now. And by that is you should just at least try to shade. Give the character some depth to him. And this is kind of another lesson that I've learned pretty recently, actually, is I always used to just draw stuff for comics. Like, I always had a comic idea, I want to draw a character for that, draw stuff for the comic, always doing that. Recently, I've been drawing fan art, and it's been really awesome. Or just, I've been drawing kind of fun pictures of my characters in whatever poses and outfits I want. And it's very freeing. Just I think people should do that. I know a lot of people do that. But I do know there are people who, like me, who just only draw for comics and they just don't allow themselves to do that. I was like that for a while. But yeah, it's just because, you get in the mindset of, if I'm going to draw something, might as well draw it for the comic. Why am I, spending my time drawing something else? So yeah, I've been doing that, and it's been a lot more fun. I've had a lot, not to say I don't have fun drawing my comics, but sometimes it can be a drag. So kind of letting myself free, and just to draw whatever I want, really has been kind of awesome. And I understand why people do it as a hobby, very, religiously, because, it was really fun. I enjoy keep doing that. And, after I get kind of burnt out sometimes drawing my panels, I draw some fun fan art, or, whatever I want my characters to be wearing or doing. And it's fun. And yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. And I kind of wish I would have done that later, but, we're not going to look back and say I wish I could have done something better. We just got to do it and move forward. But I guess that's it for this video. I guess there really wasn't much to say other than, just kind of look back at your work. And, it's hard to see your growth in the day-to-day, but, over the long run, you're definitely growing as an artist, as a creator, as a writer. I actually found an old art piece from I think 6th or 7th grade. I didn't really draw much as a kid, just every now and then, like once a year maybe I would draw something. I used to doodle a lot, but I had an actual piece. It was a OC Naruto character I made, that very much looks like a darker version of Kakashi. So I kind of want to redraw that and maybe I'll make another video about it, and I can think of some more ideas and more topics to kind of talk about when looking back and redrawing your art. But that's it for today's video. If you have any art you want to share or stories you want to share and how you've grown as an artist, please let me know. And just kind of what you expect your art to be in the next 5 years. It's kind of crazy to look forward, in time, and, and see, and I'll probably redraw, Edmund here in another 5 years to see how he looks in that art style. And that'll be kind of cool to compare that then. But we'll see. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.